I was just reminiscing about my childhood and the herb garden, the big, bountiful herb garden that we had. Yeah, those were good times. Welcome to Small Business Celebration. We're continuing our series on spring from COVID. And our guest this week, well, she is leaving her customer in stitches with the great vibes that her business delivers. This is Small Business Celebration. Join us as we learn from successful business owners and successful business leaders about who they are, from where their business has grown, what they have learned, and where their successful business is going. I'm your host, Michael I. Roberts, and we're going to learn something that you can use today to grow a strong and profitable business. Welcome to Small Business Celebration, and our guest this week is Christiee Diane, the owner of VibeStitch. Welcome to Small Business Celebration.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
For visionaries who don't know who you are you, and what is it that you do?
My name is Christiee Diane, and I am the owner of VibeStitch. I created this brand about 4 years ago, more for just fun, but it organically grew into an incredible platform to raise money for nonprofits and connect people in a very disconnected world.
The reason we're here is because we've gotten a lot of questions from visionaries just like you about home-based businesses, and not all home-based businesses are created equal. Now, the thing about Christie's business is it's not just here in Bakersfield. It's now a nationwide company.
It is.
Currently, you are doing an order that's going to Vermont.
Yes. Oh my gosh.
Tell us a little bit about this.
Yes, I do. That one is a really special one because when I first started VibeStitch, I didn't really know much about influencers, and I was searching on Instagram trying to figure out the whole thing. I felt like I was 90, and I found this young girl that caught my eye, and her name's Mia, and I ended up mailing her hats, and she sent me pictures for a couple years, and then now she's in junior high, and that was that. But then her mom contacted me, and fast forward, she now is a buyer. She goes out to different stores and then gets small businesses, small brands into different stores. So she got Vermont, and she gets everything in Fashion Island. We're everywhere because this lady is amazing.
Wow.
So she's my rep. She goes out and represents VibeStitch for me.
You brought up something a moment ago, is you help small businesses and nonprofits build that connection with people and start conversations they normally wouldn't have.
Yes.
Tell us, do you do company and corporate logos, or what is it that you do here at VibeStitch to help promote a small business?
Yes, I do businesses and logos, but they're not my favorite.
Okay.
I do them, usually it's for people I know if they call, and that's totally fine. But I don't love that. That part of it is not creative for me, so it's hard to love and be passionate about that part of it.
Right.
And that's not what my brand is. It's not to just make hats for businesses, and it is to be creative and come up with something for your, like if a business wanted me to make up something awesome,
right,
that would somehow make somebody ask questions about their business, that would be my field.
And that is it right there.
Yes.
It's about starting a conversation. How do you do that with a trucker hat?
Right? So, anybody could make a trucker hat.
Right.
Anybody could put anything on a trucker hat. But what I have found, what started this whole thing, what started VibeStitch to grow to where it is, was I was in an airport. I don't even know what my hat said, and my phone died. And I was sitting there like, oh my gosh, I'm so bored. And I was looking around, and everybody was on their phone, and nobody was talking to each other. They were like somewhere on the phone, but I thought, gosh, but I was one of those people until my phone died.
Right.
And I looked around and just was so sad that we were so disconnected until somebody walked up to me and said, oh my gosh, I love your hat. And that started a conversation. And then the person over there was like, oh, I want to see. And it just kind of, there was that. And we ended up talking on the airplane. It was really cool.
It sounds like the conversation was organically started.
Yes, always.
What was the first opportunity, or what was the landmark situation where you realized that you could be creative and start that organic conversation?
Well, it's a funny story.
Okay.
I took my son Luke to an Ed Sheeran concert. It was his first concert.
Right.
And I made a hat that said, I'm with the band. And I made him a shirt that said, like, my first concert or something.
Right.
And we were in line in our car to park. And this SWAT guy with big old muscles and this gun walks up to my car and, like, taps on my window. And my son's like, what happened, Mom? I'm like, I don't know. So I rolled down the window and I said, hi. And he said, excuse me, ma'am. You're not with the band. I'm with the band. Well, I forgot about my hat. You know, I was like, okay. Like, I had no idea. And then he said, your hat. And he's like, that is such a great hat. And so he gave us VIP parking. And I was like, oh my gosh, that is so funny. And that's when I realized this is a big deal. I have some man that probably wouldn't have spoken to anybody, you know, just directing traffic and there to protect everybody else, comes to my window to tell me he likes my hat. So that's what did it.
How would you translate your experience at the concert to a small business owner who wants to start that organic conversation?
Right now, actually, I can use a situation right now. I was on a call with a friend who runs a nonprofit here. Mm-hmm. Wine, Women, and Shoes is the fundraiser.
Okay.
And then this year, the funds will be going to League of Dreams, which is sports related.
Right.
And so I could make something that says game day or something about sports to where when they get it, they can wear it to anything, any other game, but they know that the correlation and connection is to League of Dreams and Wine, Women, and Shoes. And it'll strike like, where did you get that hat? Oh, I was at this nonprofit, and you know, I was at this fundraiser. And so you just things that you just got to think outside of the box.
Sure. If visionaries want to get in touch with you, how do they do that?
They can find me on Instagram is probably the best.
Okay.
It's just at VibeStitch, VIBESTITCH. Website's vibestitch.com. Facebook is VibeStitch.
There's a pattern here. Weird about that. If they want to reach out to you by phone or email, how do they do that?
Email, vibestitch@gmail.com is the best way.
And if you enjoy Small Business Celebration, go ahead and like, subscribe, and notify, and leave a comment. We love the comments that visionaries just like you give us. And when we come back, as Christy mentioned earlier, she had a partner. And the question is what do you do with a partner when the partnership doesn't work out? When we come right back.
Your face is your brand. Portraits are important because you need to be the face of your business. Whether you're the business owner, you offer a product or service, you need to put that out there. It's the representation of your company. You can find Red Crane Portraits online at redcraneportraits.com. I'm also on Instagram, Facebook, and LinkedIn. You can call us at 661-243-0931, or you can email me at shauna@redcraneportraits.com. Your face is your brand, so call Red Crane Portraits today.
We're here with Christiee Diane, the owner of VibeStitch, and our visionary question comes from Sarah, who asks, I just had a falling out with my business partner and I'm not sure where to pick up the pieces to continue on. What did you do?
So my friend Kim, her name is Kimmy. Kimmy and I, when we started VibeStitch, it was so great. And while we did, it was so great, grew quickly. We talked every day. Our kids got really close. So what did I do? When she decided that she wanted to move on, I bought her out. And it was, I think the hard thing for me is it's a loss. You know, and for my kids too, we were used to them coming over and seeing them all the time. And I'm sure that vice versa. But It's a loss. It's definitely difficult in that area. When I would design something, I didn't have anybody to bounce ideas off of, so I'd ask my kids, like, "Is this cool?" Like, I don't even know
It's not the same.
It's not the same.
No, it's not.
So, it's just a healing process, just like any other loss. Luckily, I can still talk to her, and we keep in touch, and we get to watch our kids grow and all of that. But I don't see them like we used to when we were spending every day together.
It sounds like, in the limited time that we've known each other, you have a tremendous amount of empathy.
Yes.
That you have for people. And how was that empathy related to your partner and Kimmy? And how did you work through that when the partnership was dissolved?
Yes, I am definitely an empath, and I feel all the feelings. All the feelings.
Sure.
I didn't learn about that until I was an adult. So now that I understand it, I realize it's not a negative thing. It's actually a really great thing.
It's nice to being able to read people.
Yes. Oh, yeah.
How do you utilize that? How do you work with that without being obtrusive?
I just kind of let them do a lot of the talking. I ask questions that will force them to respond in a longer way than just yes or no. But it's just relatability. People just want to feel loved and accepted. So if I can find a connection between me and somebody, because I can feel their energy of, they're having a hard day, or I just know when someone's in the room, I can usually read the room, and I have a conversation starter already. So it's kind of helpful.
Sure.
Which also could be a negative thing, because I get very emotionally attached to people and situations. I have a story for that.
Okay.
It was spring break a few years ago, and I want to say 3 years ago. And I was in Lake Tahoe, and all of a sudden my phone's going crazy, and I thought, what is happening? And some children had died in a car accident. Well, I was looking, and I thought, I don't know who these kids are, but my phone was just going off the hook. Well, it turns out it was one of my friend's kids, and their dad had picked them up to go out of town, and a drunk driver hit them. The dad died, the baby died, the two other kids died, and then one lived, only one, which is awesome that he lived, but it's a long recovery for him. But anyway, I just felt helpless. I mean, I ruined my whole day that day, because I couldn't stop thinking about, what can I do to help her? I have this desire and need to fix people, or save them from heartache, because I know how awful it is.
Right.
And so I ended up just creating a fundraiser for them. It was actually probably my first big fundraiser. I connected with Allie that owns Fuego's Tacos locally, and she and I did tacos and truckers, and that's what we called it, and created this fundraiser with our friend Stacy. And I just donated 100% of everything that people bought, that within a 2 week to 3 week span, just to help her with finances for their funeral. I mean, she had to bury 2 kids. It was just awful. So I say that to say that I get very involved emotionally, and it's so hard for me sometimes to be able to have that boundary of, Christy, this is your job.
Right.
It's okay to care, but there's a line most of the time.
And it's a matter of figuring out where that line
Yes.
is. Was this a process as a kid that you had to discover and go through yourself? Or
Yes.
What was that process like?
Well, as a kid, I always felt like it was I was very emotional. My brothers called me Misty Christie because I cried all the time.
Right, sure.
And it always seemed like such a burden on people, but I couldn't control myself. I was just, I would see a homeless person and I would cry because we couldn't take them home to clean them up and help them, or buy them food, and my parents were always really good about that. They would, we would always go help, but I wanted to do more.
Right.
So as a kid, I realized that, depression was a big a big deal in my life.
Okay.
But I didn't know what that was.
Right.
I didn't realize what depression was until I was way older. But now I can look back and I could see the emotional roller coaster and the highs and the lows and all over the place, because I had so much emotion. And then depression, like the letdown, was always very sad for me. I'd watch movies and I'd be the only one crying through this whole movie, and I'm like, what's wrong with me, you know?
Right.
But I realize now that it's a great gift as long as I can control it.
How do you control it?
Well, I have to do, so I'm all over the place. My personality is, I love to be spontaneous and do all these fun things.
And that's where the depression's at its highest?
Yes, exactly.
Right.
And we go, you feel all the excitement and then the letdown. It's like a concert. Concerts are amazing, and then you have the sad after the concert because, man, it's over already.
Right.
It's like, but that's my life. So I would have that, or what was I saying? Oh my gosh.
You were talking about how you deal with depression.
Oh yes. Because I'm so spontaneous and I'm not a very organized person naturally, I have to be very routine. I have to force myself, which is hard.
Right, sure,
Anybody who truly knows me, they know.
Right.
I mean, it's like chaos. I'm sure for them when they walk in, they're like, whoa, but for me, it's like organized chaos. I know exactly where everything is most of the time.
Right, sure.
But for me, what I have to do to control that is I wake up early before my kids. I have to have alone time. I do meditations. I love Dr. Daniel Amen, who is the brain doctor, and I've had a brain scan done just to understand the process. And you can, when you do meditations and you really focus and you journal and you do all the things, for a brain like mine that's so busy with ADD and all the things going on in there, wanting to save the world, it's a good way to just bring it all together. So there's a local place called Happy Whole You, and she is certified under Dr. Daniel Amen, who is my favorite, and she's the best. Anna Marie. They just do so many things to help calm you, and it's just incredible. And I take supplements that help. And sure. I work out, and I go to the gym, and I have different ways to release all of the anxiety and all the things, the feelings.
When we come back, we're going to talk about that mythical unicorn that eludes most small business owners. That thing between personal life and a business life. And is there a balance, really? When we come right back. The reason we're here with Christiee Diane, the owner of VibeStitch, is because of a Visioneer question. They came from a Visioneer just like you. They reached out to us on LinkedIn, Facebook, and Instagram, and in this case, it was a direct message on Instagram. And the Visioneer wanted to find out about a real home-based business and what kind of business works, what kind of a person does it take, what are some of the philosophies that make it work, and that is why we are here. So if you've got a question, you've got a thought, something that you'd like to learn about, go ahead and reach out to us on LinkedIn, Facebook, and Instagram today. We're here with Christiee Diane, the owner of VibeStitch, and Visioneer Brandon asks, how do you refocus your time between your business and family and stay sane?
Is that even real?
Is that even possible?
I don't even know if you could do that. If so, I have not quite figured that out. That is not something I've mastered.
Okay.
That is hard, especially when you work out of your house. How do you can't just walk. I mean, like literally, I don't even have an office door.
Right.
This is supposed to be the dining room. And this is my office. So when you first walk in, it's crazy.
Sure.
So when I walk out, that's my kitchen and living room. So while I'm sitting there watching movies, in my mind, I'm like, oh my gosh, there's so many things I could be doing right now.
Right.
So it's more intentional. I just have to make the choice that this is my family time. I have employees that come in the morning and we work until a certain time, and then that's it. And then I have to just shut it off. It usually doesn't happen like that. I try.
It's not like a light switch.
No, I always end up back in here doing something. And my
Sure.
kids will even tell me that it bothers them that all they know of me is working at the house. So that's, good and bad. So it's hard. I honestly, for Brandon, I don't know what to tell you. It's just,
It sounds like the way that you balance it is your kids are your alarm clock.
yes, yeah. They're always hungry. They're always hungry.
But it's more than that. They are your barometer for coming in and helping you get that quality time with them and get you away from bookkeeping and getting away from accounting and all the
Yes.
thrilling, exciting things that comes with business ownership. You spoke a little bit about in the last segment that you are very regimented and you're very scheduled in order to keep control of things. And do you do that when you go through your business day and your kids and say, I'm only going to work from this time to that time, and then I need to go get the kids and we're going to go do these activities? Does that regiment help you balance out between the kids, the family, and what you're doing with Outtakes?
Actually, yes. Since school started and we're in person school finally, this is my first time in a couple years to have a break. So yes, I'm able to work. I know that at 2:00 I need to be at my daughter's school, and then the pickup is crazy. It's an hour and a half of picking up, and then there's football, and afternoons are crazy, so we've got to do dinner. So yes, I know that what I need to get done has to happen from the moment I drop them off and I'm home to right before I pick them up. And that helps me so much because I know I don't have all day to sit here and procrastinate or get on Instagram or, I turn off my phone. And to reiterate, I am not a scheduled and organized person. You made me sound so good. I wish I have to try very hard to be that person, but I am not that person at all.
Sure. One of the things I've noticed being in this room, but also what you've posted on social media a lot, is the smiley face.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and is that a current fad or what's up with the smiley face?
Yes, it's just, I don't know who it is that decides what's cool or what's not, but all of a sudden smiley faces are everywhere and everybody loves happy faces. It's so funny. So I try to switch it up and make a leopard one or, something that's just a little bit different than your yellow smiley face.
Right.
But yes, this one has been super, super popular for a while. Maybe
it's because of the times we live.
Yeah, it could be. I mean, everybody wants to smile. And it's a good reminder, too.
Right.
There's no words, but it's telling you to smile.
Sure. One of the things, too, about this is you come across very authentic in all of your social media. You've got video posts with your daughter, and she's teaching you how to do Instagram lives and all this great stuff. And why do you show that personal side of yourself so much on Instagram and social media?
Well, it's very important for me to not come off as fake. It's easy to come off as fake. I can put on a smile any day of the week and, and be dying at home, but I don't want that. I'd rather people look at my life as, okay, she struggles with depression. She has anxiety. She's a single mom with 3 kids. She has a business at home, in her house, and a dog. And, she's still smiling. And it's not even about the smile. It's being authentic and real. Like, this is real life. And I try to share the reality of it. I don't do it as often as I should because of imposter syndrome. It's a huge struggle for me.
Really?
Yes, it's. I feel like when I'm going on there and I'm supposed to be like a boss babe or whatever, I'm supposed to be professional. It's hard for me to be that because I feel like I'm being fake. And I don't like that. So it's very important for me to be as real and authentic and show that I struggle just like anybody else.
Right.
Because, a lot of people don't comment or like or do anything, but they're always watching. People are always watching. So if I could go scroll through somebody's feed and not feel inferior or like, oh gosh, I wish my life was that good, or I don't want people to look at my life and think, oh, it's so easy for her, because it's not. And every day is a new day and it's a struggle, and I make the choice to make it work.
it sounds like that you're striving for relatability.
Absolutely.
Why is that?
Because it's important to feel a connection. It's such a lonely world, and especially with technology. I mean, I have one son that I can barely get out of his room because he loves video games so much, and he's like amazing at it, awesome, but like there's no connection, not personally,
right.
Not in real life. So it's important. There's moms, stay-at-home moms that are just stuck in their house and they have newborns and they feel trapped. They don't even know what their identity is anymore because they're mom.
Right.
And I've been there, and now my kids are bigger, so I'm in a whole new season and stage, but it's almost the same that way. You have children and they become your whole world.
Right.
Connection is so important when you feel disconnected from everybody.
Right. One of the things about being a business owner, especially when you have employees, is it can be lonely at the top.
Yes.
How do you encourage other business owners to realize that it's going to be okay?
Oh gosh.
Especially with somebody who faces the roller coaster of depression every day.
It's just getting up and making the choice that today's going to be better. It's striving to be the best version of yourself. There's no comparison of, that girl on social media or that person who seems to have her whole life together. There's no comparison because you are you, I am me. It's just our goal should be the only people we should compare ourselves to is who we were yesterday and how we can be better today. So if somebody's home struggling with depression, reach out, figure out, find somebody on social media that is authentic, that you can connect with and wants to, because that's so important.
If Visioneers want to get in touch with you, how do they do that?
Instagram's the best way.
Okay.
We're pretty active on there. Sometimes it's not me responding.
Right.
But
what's your Instagram handle?
It's @ VibeStitch.
Okay.
And then email is vibestitch@gmail.com.
Well, Christie, this has been a real privilege. Thank you very much for joining us here on Small Business Celebration.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
And I'll be right back with my final thoughts.
Your face is your brand. Portraits are important because you need to be the face of your business. Whether you're the business owner, you offer a product or service, you need to put that out there. It's the representation of your company. You can find Red Crane Portraits online at redcraneportraits.com. I'm also on Instagram, Facebook, and LinkedIn. You can call us at 661-243-0931, or you can email me at shauna@redcraneportraits.com. Your face is your brand, so call Red Crane Portraits today.
The 11th commandment. This is a very special week for my family and I. Back in November 2020, my father passed away, and due to COVID restrictions and travel restrictions and occupancy restrictions, we are finally able to have his celebration of life. And as I was preparing my remarks for this celebration, I was reminded of a piece of advice that he gave over and over and over, which is, "Thou shalt not take thyself so damn seriously." So often we go through life looking at all our troubles, all the problems that we have, the people that vex us, and we start getting really down in the dumps. When in reality, what we should be doing is looking at life like a comedy. Because after all, comedy is a tragedy plus a week. I hope you enjoyed our conversation with Christiee Diane, the owner of VibeStitch, and I hope you learned something from our conversation that you can use to grow a strong and profitable business. And we'll see you again next week.
But then VibeStitch started to grow quickly.
Time out 1 second.
Yes.
You have a little white thing in your eyebrow.
Oh, I do?
There it's gone. Okay.
Oh, thank you. Great.
All right, let's try this one more time.
What in the heck? Okay.
Well, it's a good thing we catch it not
Yes.
going. That's not
the
a piercing.
worst.
It's not a piercing, right? 'Cause, All right.
You're like, I didn't hear a word you just said.
Yeah, it's like, the ADD in me, man. Anyway.
Oh my gosh, that's so funny. Okay.
This is going into the credits.